Pals for Life.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Pals for Life. Pals for Life is weekly radio for anyone who wants to enjoy World of Warcraft with some extra pals. We've got your commentary on news, rumors, and a special segment we like to call The Boss Fight. Today is October 26th, 2014. My name is Wilson, and I'm joined today by Randall.
What's up, guys?
Lane.
Howdy.
And our good friend David.
Hey, fellas.
Nice to have you today. Ding! Today marks our 10th episode, and we're really excited to keep it going. So let's jump right into this. Our Spellbreaker topic this week is an announcement that's kind of hot news, just happened 7 hours ago. Are some new WoW TV spots that just got rolled out on Blizzard's website. So there's 4 new spots. 3 of them are basically, kind of different compositions of the footage we've already seen in the cinematic, but one of them is a brand new video cinematic. Anyone want to explain that one?
Yeah, it's it is what it is. It's a Grommash death stare. I mean, if anyone wants to get pumped, for some more Drain or go watch these videos, then try to contain yourself.
They're extra spooky.
Yeah, Grommash is kind of crazy looking. And by kind of crazy looking, I mean he's insane looking.
Like as crazy as someone who wouldn't resub to WoW, right? I mean, that's crazy.
But anyway, it's interesting to see that, that with the TV spots, they basically have 2 30-second clips and then 2 15-second clips. I guess they, have different outlets where they need to put these, so they have to have these different time formats.
Yeah, I'm curious about the death stares. It is a TV spot, but say if you didn't play World of Warcraft, why? I can only see that being a commercial for maybe like Adult Swim or something like that, where, they can assume a good 75% of the viewer base has some sort of knowledge of World of Warcraft, and therefore will be hyped upon seeing this dude staring you down.
Dude, you can see his pores, man, alright? That kind of animating is just, that's high quality, Lane, alright? Just the quality put into that, as long as they put their brand on there, whatever. That's all that matters.
Wow, I like their
pretty
graphics.
real.
I'll play this game, and then disappointment everywhere.
Dude, that's how people think, though. Just gonna say that.
Yeah, but World of Warcraft's like stuck in the Stone Ages still, sort of.
That's why you make the graphics out of game look really good.
I think that's probably Blizzard's motto, honestly. Best cinematics of all time. Inside games.
Potato characters.
Yes, everything on the inside is potato, everything on the outside is like golden chalice.
Well, just so you know, the potatoes got brand new skins, so.
Yeah, so they're like potatoes with things growing out of them now. Woo! I'm kidding. I actually do really like the updates to the skin.
Yeah, they mostly look pretty good. Night Elves look weird, but whatever. I don't play Night Elf, so I'll let it slide.
But going back to that TV spot, I think that, WoW has enough notoriety that they could get away with doing something like this, and if you're someone who maybe only played earlier on, you might be a little interested to see, what the heck's going on with WoW, and you may look it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely for the educated. Which is an interesting spin, because, most companies can't really do that unless, you've been building up hype for 3 years or some crap like that for, a big AAA game or something. And then you can, drop some sort of really specific TV spot. I don't know. It's interesting to see Blizzard flex their muscles a little bit here to me.
Flex their guns.
Yeah. And then
Blizzard's
roar.
got some major guns. 22s.
22. I think one of the best comments on this post is, imagine turning on your TV late at night to the Grommash death stare.
I honestly don't think I could handle
TV.
it.
Yeah, no, immediately. That's enough TV for tonight.
It would ruin my sleeping cycle, and I would instantly get on WoW and probably play for 6 hours then afterwards.
I think you are the target audience, David.
Well, they're hitting the right audience, alright? They're hitting good people then. Good Americans.
Good people.
Wholesome Americans, David.
Exactly.
And other folk.
Yeah, we don't discriminate here.
Oh, yeah.
Other people who aren't Americans, right? There are
Australians.
those, I forget. Yeah.
Australians, yes. We will talk about them later, too.
Mm.
But, I think that, we'll probably be seeing these on YouTube as well. Just because they're a TV spot does not mean that Blizzard isn't pumping money into a YouTube campaign as well.
Oh yeah.
Interesting how TV spot these days means TV/internet spot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure. I'm like 80% sure we'll be seeing this in like a little GIF on the side of a screen as an advertisement. World of Warcraft, play our game because this dude stares you down. So yeah.
So if you want to get stared at, be sure to check out our show notes, or even just Blizzard's BattleNet website for the new WoW TV spots post. Now we're going to move on over to the boss fight. This is the segment of the show where Lane, who is a resident non-WoW player, but has played a very small amount in the past, brings up some beef with WoW, and we have a productive discussion around it normally. But this week we're doing something a little different.
Yeah. This week we kind of had a little discussion about it because I was originally going to do a little boss fight on my experience with looting in the game, and then Randall was like, "Hold on, they changed looting a little bit," and so that was totally null and void. So we're on to a little bit different of a thing this time. We were talking over about the difficulty and how my experience was of it. David asked me how hard WoW was at one point, and I noted that it wasn't particularly hard. So David suggested maybe I could do a sort of testimonial of sorts, and we could, rifle through how it was different than you guys' original experience, and that's what we're gonna try. So
we're gonna rifle it down and try to shoot out the differences.
Exactly. We're gonna be rifling and shooting. Yay. So my experience with WoW is honestly extremely shallow. I quested for all of 5 hours and then gave up on it because it was so immensely boring. And once I got out of the starter area, I did another, 3 quests, and then I was done with it. It was so stupidly boring that the only thing I could imagine doing was the things that involved other people. So I immediately took off to Battlegrounds and the dungeons, and Battlegrounds are what they are. We've already talked about rogues and stuff like that, and I had my share of good and bad times in them. I mean, I don't remember ever making any awesome plays, but I mean, at level 20, I still had no idea what the heck I was doing. But I played plenty of Battlegrounds until I got like a good 15 levels off of Battlegrounds or something like that. But I think the interesting things to point out are the dungeons. I think I died in a dungeon maybe twice, and I played like a lot of dungeons. I mean, that was the only way I really leveled after, level whatever you leave the Exodar at, because I was playing Draenei Paladin. And so I left the Exodar, did 3 quests, and immediately started doing dungeons and Battlegrounds. And I don't ever remember the dungeons being challenging enough to really stop me and have any sort of thought put into it. And I think that's the part we should think about and focus on, that I didn't have to put any thought into how the game was working specifically at that point. It was, there's one dude in the front and he takes all the damage. Everybody else just do the thing. And that's exactly what happened. We would all pretty much bum rush and kill things. And the only thing we ever had any trouble with was maybe the bosses and the mini bosses. We'd go through maybe a couple people would die, and after that we would be totally fine, and we would just go on about our business, do the drops, and we'd be out of there. And I'm not sure if that's what you guys' experiences were in your lower levels. My experience in lower level didn't really compel me to keep playing, and I think that's why I didn't keep playing ultimately, is because there was no challenge really associated with it. And that's what I really saw in you guys playing WoW, was the immense challenge of raiding and stuff like that. Yeah, you guys had done it 100 times, so you knew what to do, but that I wanted to get to there. I wanted to understand what you guys understood. How this guy needs to stay in front or everybody dies, or that one person needs to be popping them heals or everybody dies. None of that applies in the slightest in my experience in lower level dungeons. So, yeah, I'd like to hear what you guys think about that.
Well, Lane, it's not too late for you to experience this little bit. So, I just want to say that real quick.
I did not just monologue for that long for that.
For a lead up to me saying Lane
Yes.
should resub? Yeah,
No.
I know.
Get out
What a
of here.
letdown. But,
well,
Jerk.
what I was really gonna say was, back in my day, before raid, or looking for group raid finder, any of that stuff, I remember, spending immense amounts of time, setting up for dungeons, in Stormwind or outside of, Dead Mines, and, what's it called? And going into Dead Mines, not being certain if I'd complete the instance or not because it was hard.
What level were you in this? That's, I think.
That was 18 to 20 something. I don't know. Around that area. Whenever you go into Dead Mines, that stuff.
Okay. Yeah, Dead Mines is basically one of the first dungeons you do on Alliance side.
Yeah.
Bigger probably did it.
And, yeah, I did that. Me and Wilson both did that instance a lot. I mean, or tried to. I mean, a lot of times you don't even finish the instance because it was just really hard. And you always wanted to, be able to finish it and try to get that cruel barb or whatever, Me on my Warlock still trying to get agility gear, whatever. I'm still cool. And, yeah, that's something that definitely I think lost. That was one of my was one of my favorite experiences for my lower levels, just hanging around in Westfall, that area, setting up a group for Dead Mines, getting through and really trying to see if we can even get through. Or, every once in a blue moon, getting some really high level carry us through.
Mm-hmm.
Dave, what about you?
Well, man, I honestly think WoW has changed a lot. I played midway through when vanilla came out, and I have to agree, you used to get buffed up and geared up and ready to go outside of the instance, and I admit, man, it used to take, nowadays it takes 20, 30 minutes tops to finish a dungeon, and back then it would take about 2 hours. And I mean, I feel like WoW has changed a lot in that aspect, but at the same time, it's not so much each class. For instance, you had rogues and hunters and warlocks. They normally would either trap, fear, or sap certain mobs. Nowadays, everybody's just kind of going gung-ho and going really hard on everything, just blasting through stuff. So I feel like the game's gotten a lot easier, and certain classes have lost their special trapping and specialization abilities, which kind of sucks, but at the same time, not everybody has all the time in the world to play WoW. I mean, it is kind of a job when it comes down to it if you want to be really good at the game.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, I guess I'll weigh in on Dead Mines. I have vivid memories of running back to the instance after wiping to Dead Mines at 5 or 6 a.m. I mean, this is just starting WoW instances. This isn't the type of thing that you should be doing. I mean, not many people are even on the server at this point, at that time of day, but I remember having a lot of fun not getting very far in instances.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well,
but now, it's kind of just instances aren't, I don't know, I mean, they still have a lot of flavor and stuff, but I feel like now it's you kind of just do a roulette of things, so
is looking for group the main culprit here? Is that why they're so much easier? I can't imagine them necessarily being easier because of that.
But not necessarily easier because of that, but I mean they've dumbed everything down, I guess, in accordance to that. So you didn't have.
I see what you mean.
So you don't have to have an organized group to do it.
Yeah, it's less specific.
Yeah, I assume that's why they did it as they did, but it's made it, it's taken away the challenge, and people don't have these memories associated with instances, and people go into an instance thinking, all right, I want to finish this so I can get 2 more bars of XP, instead of I want to finish this so I can have fun. You know what I mean?
Pretty much.
Well, and not to mention, Blizzard's always has had this philosophy that's changed over the years, but basically they want to make all classes viable. And I think that whenever you have classes with certain CC that's really good, it's oh, well, we definitely want to bring along, a mage so they can sheep these mobs. But some classes don't provide that type of CC, like a DPS paladin or what have you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's an ever-changing game, and I mean, they have a ton of things in it that are, I mean, there are just so many classes. It's crazy. So, I mean, it's definitely hard to keep everything relevant, and I think LFG is probably their attempt to give everyone that's definitely what it is. It's just their attempt to give everyone the accessibility of the memories that you guys have, but in a 30-minute way instead of a 6-hour way.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, but, I mean, and we've discussed this before, you're losing something there. And this is probably, like, ultimately the root of why I don't care that much about World of Warcraft, why I'm not, like, you know, foaming at the mouth to play it when this expansion is coming out. I just, like, it didn't hook me like it hooked you guys, because there was nothing to really hook me. It has dungeons and PvP. Cool. I don't really like how the game looks, and gotten BS'd on like 5 different loot drops today. So, I mean, it doesn't always cater, you know, to everyone. And in my case, it wasn't, you know, my everything like it was to you guys. So I guess I just got it at a bad time. I'm sure if I had been playing when you guys were starting, I would be hopelessly addicted still to this day.
And that's the exciting part about, you know, a brand new expansion, is that there's pretty much a rat race that unfolds, you know, in the first couple of weeks of an expansion. So I think that we'll definitely be able to tap into some of that more basic challenge when Warlords comes out.
Yeah, you definitely will, Lane. You definitely will.
Totally, bro. Totally.
And I think another part of the thing that's interesting about Warlords of Draenor, and that kind of ties into this conversation, is that, you know, when you do want to do a local group for an instance, you do have to kind of run out there, or you used to have to run out there to the instance entrance. And I think that if you want to do something with people on your server in Warlords, you're going to have to run on your mount all the way to, you know, wherever you're going to go, Frostfire Ridge or what have you.
No flying.
Exactly. I think that'll create a new world experience that we haven't had in a while.
I mean, I couldn't even tell you where half of the dungeons I went to were. Like,
yeah.
It was so inconsequential. I just went there to kill stuff. And that's it.
Yep.
I think that's a huge disconnect of you know, some of the great world building that Blizzard had done with World of Warcraft. So it was a big trade-off. I mean, I think Looking for Group and Looking for Raid provided a whole bunch of things that were needed in the game, but it came at a price. So
I feel like
we're living with that.
I feel like we end up talking about LFG a lot.
I mean, it was a pretty big move. It was like a huge design shift.
Oh yeah, I mean, it changed everything. Yeah.
I mean, games like this with that kind of content, it's a big change. Yeah.
And I think, you know, like, and this ties everything together a little bit. Like, they've shifted WoW's focus. You know, like, at least for me, like, WoW wasn't always about max level, I guess. Like, when I was leveling up, I was having fun leveling up. It wasn't about me being to the top even. I wanted to get max level, right? I did want to do that. But, like, the game was still very enjoyable at levels under it. Now it's all about the max level. Like, there's no
even in their commercials.
Yeah, and there's no real enjoyment about being in the leveling experience as much. There is enjoyment at the beginning of X-Packs, because everyone's doing the stuff, and it's, you know, if you're on a PvP server, you got world PvP going on, you're leveling with your friends, you get to experience all the new stuff, you know. Like, there is there, but after that's gone, there's no more fun in that. Like, if you're, like, a level 10 or something, like, I mean, you kind of have the bad end of the stick, like.
Yep, I gotta agree.
I mean, yeah, unless you're, like, playing with a group of your own friends, pretty much, it's kind of, I mean, everything's kind of dead, right?
Yep. Ghost towns.
Well, I mean, I guess it's part of the online gameplay is, like, it wants to bring your friends in, you know, because you want to hang out with them, like, in the gaming world. You can do stuff that you can't do, and I guess it just makes it more fun to enjoy the game overall with your friends, and that's what LFG did it kind of replaced your friends with short-term friends that only lasted, like, a few minutes, you know, to do certain dungeons and things like that, and it was kind of up to you if you want to make these people, I guess, your WoW friends or more long-term, but I felt like LFG definitely did take more of the personal side away from WoW.
Yeah,
that's a really good
definitely.
point. World of Warcraft, you don't need friends anymore.
We'll make friends for you.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I think what the thing about this whole thing is, it kind of brings up something you do when you have, like, a product, is to do regression testing. And that's basically where you release something out into the market, and then you see what it's like for people a long time after it's been out, like if it's actually better or worse. Because I'm sure initially everyone loves LFG, but then after it's been in use for a while, you start seeing the other consequences of introducing it into the game. At any rate, I'm excited to see how this new expansion handles a lot of these things we've been talking about, and hopefully the removal flying will make the world seem more real, and I think that all of the servers are going to be a little more connected with, some of this cross-realm zone business that's been going on for a while. And maybe we'll have a WoW testimonial a little later on when Lane's playing again.
Yeah.
And kind of get a compare and contrast.
Good lord. maybe every 10 episodes.
Well, expansion's coming up in a couple weeks, so we don't have that much time.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Yeah. So we're going to move on over to Tavern Talk. This is a segment of our show. It's basically news and rumors heard from all over. And the first item on the list is Metallica is going to be playing at BlizzCon.
It's
pretty crazy. Yeah, they were going guns blazing on this.
Yeah, that's trying pretty hard.
There's no actual. I think the bottom line is there's no real point to this. I guess it's just like, hey, it's Metallica. They're performing at BlizzCon. That's pretty cool.
Exactly it. Yeah.
And I don't know. I want to almost say, because I watched the League of Legends World Finals and Imagine Dragons perform there. I want to say that this might be a coming trend to incorporate musical acts with things that have to do with video games, to the point of where it's like a competition between them almost. We're going to be trying to get the bigger and better ones between each thing that's going on.
For me, I don't know. I'm not really interested in that kind of stuff. Maybe it'll make them more mainstream in some ways. I guess that's a possibility. It'll draw people in that wouldn't be as interested. Like, oh, Metallica's playing, like whatever. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like this just kind of detaches away from the whole idea of like gaming. Like this is about gaming. This isn't some music festival.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem to have any point in the context of video games.
Yeah, like what is it really bringing to the table? It's not bringing anything to the table.
To be fair though, like if you think about people with a virtual ticket, they get access to this concert too, so they are going to get to see that.
It's literally just the value of the concert itself, and I guess Randall and I are on the same page about this. Like, why do you need to add a concert to these events?
Yeah, they're
already
about
themselves.
They're about games. That's what I'm interested in seeing. I don't want to watch Metallica, have a guitar solo.
I think it's kind of cool.
I think it's interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting, and it's definitely cool. If I were there, I'm sure it'd be cool, and that's who it's for. It's for the people who are going and are going to watch. But from outside the box, it just doesn't seem to have any why. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know. There's no why.
And the other thing is I feel does Metallica really care about WoW or Blizzard? You know what I mean? It's money, I would think. Yeah. So that for me that detaches away from it, because this artist isn't here because they want to be, I guess, or it doesn't appear so. Maybe I'm completely wrong, and Metallica is the most hardcore WoW fans of all time. But that's how it feels for me.
I think a lot of people are really pumped about it. There are a lot of Metallica fans that happen to play WoW. Metallica is a band. I don't think they've had an album out in a really long time.
Yeah,
maybe since WoW came out.
We're absolutely taking the pessimistic route here.
Yeah,
we're just looking for the reason when there doesn't really need to be. It's a freaking concert. Whatever. Who cares? That's cool.
It's the closing ceremonies too, right? So it's not like this is just some random act. This is how they want to close out their show, and maybe Metallica's going to do something special, right? Maybe they'll play maybe they'll cover the Tauren Chieftains.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of hoping. They might cover a song or two from WoW itself. That is really cool, and that's the reason I could maybe one up Imagine Dragons for League of Legends on this currently, is because Imagine Dragons made this really big song for Worlds and stuff like that, and they were there to perform it. That makes sense in a way. But as of now, we have no idea what the reason they would specifically be there is Metallica. But it ultimately doesn't freaking matter. It's Metallica. They're going to BlizzCon. That's cool. Enjoy it. That's it.
Yeah, and I think just the other thing is, if you think about big Metallica fans, they're probably 35 plus people, or older guys and gals, and they were probably the people who were in the majority when WoW came out. So these are more of the hardcore, perhaps, too, diehard fans that have been with the game for a long time.
Yeah, catering to a very specific section of the audience, definitely.
Yeah.
And it's just BlizzCon, too, right? So this is not just people who like the... Oh, come on. BlizzCon is not just for people who play WoW, but for people who like all of Blizzard's games.
Yeah, it's all.
So there's another thing to remember, right?
Yeah.
This is appealing to Diablo fans and StarCraft fans.
Yeah, I mean, we get wrapped up in the WoW side of it, but yeah, it's definitely easy to forget that Blizzard makes other games sometimes.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll be on the lookout for the reaction to this show. I'm sure it will make a few waves.
And hopefully they'll play the Four Horsemen song. I'm so down for that.
Yeah, see, there's a ton of good stuff they could throw in there, so let's hope they have the wherewithal, or somebody has the wherewithal to be like, hey, you should do this.
Yeah.
So, fingers crossed.
All right, well, BlizzCon's going down, is it next weekend? No, weekend after next, but this concert's happening on the 8th of November, so be on the lookout.
Yep.
Our next item is Australian servers have been announced, so there's going to be a deployment of Australian WoW game servers right before the expansion. So now this new infrastructure and this is going off of the forum post now, will support Australia and New Zealand and should provide a significant smoother gameplay experience for players in the region.
That's excellent for them. I mean, Australia is a pretty big game market, and I don't know how the game time works over in Australia, if it's like the same rate or something like that, but I know video games in general in Australia are extremely expensive. So, I mean, if World of Warcraft is a good option for them, then heck, just play WoW and you have better servers and it's a win-win.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see any downside to these servers. Unless I'm like completely missing something here, it's only beneficial to everyone involved.
Yeah. Pessimist view.
Yeah, I see a lot of non-major problems with this. Okay, I'm excited to welcome some Aussies in with us, but I'm just going to say this right now. Sometimes they get a little hardcore with the PvPing, okay, so they might need to slow it down, because I don't understand. They're used to all the dangerous wildlife in real life. I'm not, being an American, so but I just hope that they don't go too hardcore with this transition, because they got a pretty good gaming market over there, and good skill base.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I don't know. How big is the WoW market over there? Do we actually know?
Big enough to make servers for it, I guess, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Where do they not have servers now?
I don't know. Probably like Thailand or something, I don't know.
Yeah, like lower South Africa or something like that, I don't know.
Yeah, probably just anywhere where they just...
The Congo, there you go.
They probably even have land servers at this point, so I mean... Dang, yeah, they're across the globe at this point.
But I'm sure it's exciting. I mean, it seems like, you know, based on the responses, even all of the trolls in the forum are very nice and happy. So
happy little trolls.
Happy little trolls indeed.
Yeah, I mean, I saw like some post that said something like, "I won't troll again," and I was like, "Wow,
wow, changing people's lives one post at a time."
I'm sure this will mean a lot of resubs from Aussies and other
even
folks.
a few like outlier American subs, just because they feel like someone's getting something, they want to be part of it. Lane,
they get me in it.
Lane,
shut up.
Well, this is definitely
awesome, though. Yeah, you're right. The resub, I think, is the interesting part of it. I would definitely like to hear about some numbers for the resubs.
Yeah, me too. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, we'll be on the lookout for that. And I think last week we reported that that WoW is back up to, was it 7.2 million or 7.8 million?
8. I think 8.
It was 8. I think it was 2, so I have no idea.
No, I think it was 4.
Well, anyway, WoW
something range, guys.
Right, WoW's got a bump in subscriptions already ahead of the expansion, so we expect that number to keep going up. So who knows? I mean, we might cross over to 8 million, 8.5.
Yeah, definitely.
And this is nice to see Blizzard spending some money to get these servers up and running. Especially after subscription increases in both the UK and also in China.
Oh yeah, it's nice to hear some good on the end of all that. Not necessarily bad, but increasing prices, which is bad.
It would feel weird though if they are paying for the Australian servers.
Thanks for paying for servers.
I'm sure it's not how it works, I hope. But who knows?
And it's all funneled into the same, place, so maybe.
Well, anyway, if you're an Australian player and you're listening, let us know how this change may affect you. And our next topic here is a post that's also on the Blizzard website, Residents of Gorgrond. Basically, this is a little preview, a little snippet of some of the creatures you can expect to find in Gorgrond. So, our first one on the list here is one that David's going to introduce.
So I'm bringing up the Botani. They're slender, deliberate, and calculating. These enigmatic living trees single-mindedly tend to the walls of Draenor. Wise in the ancient ways, they seek lost artifacts of bygone ages to empower the explosive growth of their territory, often at the expense of Draenor's other sentient beings. The Botani wage an eternal war against the creatures of stone and the natives of Gorgon, do their best to survive in the midst of constant conflict between the Botani and the Gorgon. Gron, Magnaron, and others. Since the Iron Horde and the creatures of stone began working together, the Botani have become even more aggressive. Orcs and the Draenei both have been disappearing of late into the dense Botani enclaves.
Plants.
Plants,
Hey,
guys. Y'all know how I care about plants. So.
I gotta say, they look pretty cool though.
Yeah,
They
look
look
cool.
pretty dumb. It does. It looks cool. I like the orange with the green and the leaves and the wood and the.
I think they look awesome. This is like the next ethereal, maybe,
I think
but
cut some roots
plants.
out of the ground.
Man, Randall is the biggest hater right now.
I think
I mean,
they
I
look
think they have
awesome.
to.
I'm ready to get a stab at him though. That's cool.
Randall is hatering right now.
Are you ready to chop them down to size, Randall?
Yeah, my size, which is a gnome. That's pretty small.
Oh gosh.
Oh god. All right, Wilson, you want to take the next one, man?
Alright, and yeah, I've got the Infested. The Botani have long-cultured, unique plant life in their irrigated ponds or tree dwellings, but far more terrifying is their ability to cultivate flora with a living host. Unwary natives are captured and seeded in an agonizing process that alters their physical makeup and takes complete control of their bodies, turning them into mindless walking saplings. The entire process is poorly understood, but these grisly Infested can be seen guarding Botani enclaves or shambling ahead of the Botani host as gruesome cannon fodder whose corpses eventually seed new terrain. These sound a lot like Flood. Yeah.
They look like Flood. Even.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Like they look
Big
like
time.
Flood with green hands.
Yeah, it's one of those kind of recurring theme things.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
hard to get around.
Yeah.
At that point.
Actually,
Then turning him into a plant, kind of.
I think that's the face I make whenever I go to class. Just saying.
Slack-jawed?
Yeah, they look like most college students, like just tired and deadbeat.
Yeah, that's totally correct. And growing things everywhere. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Poorly
So,
groomed.
yeah, that's the Infested. They're pretty crazy looking. I'll take up the next one. The next one's the Genosaur. Did I say that right?
I think so. That's how I think.
Venusaur.
Oh, Venusaur. Maybe
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
either. It's got Gene in it, but Jenna.
I'm just thinking
Genosaur.
I think
Venusaur.
Genosaur. I think
Yeah,
that's
I think
it.
it's Genosaur as well.
Is it Venusaur, though? I mean, in Pokemon? Come on, guys.
It possibly could be because they're with the
I do.
wild.
I do call it Venusaur sometimes because I'm terrible. Anyway,
Wow.
Genosaur are enormous demigods who date back to the age of Colossals when giants shaped the terrain of Draenor amidst constant warfare. The Botany have retained the ability to communicate with these bastions of life, and Genosaurs are revered as gods in their culture. Draenor have not yet determined if Genosaur are immortal or not. Genosaur emerging from the botany-tended pools often retain the memories and will of their long-dead forebears. Adventurers fortunate enough to catch a glimpse of these rare beings are cautioned to give Genosaurs a wide berth. They are deceptively quick, given their size, destroying them will take a small army of well-equipped heroes.
Wow.
I think they're pretty freaking cool looking. If I had my pick at which one looks coolest from just these pictures, I would definitely pick these guys. They are interesting looking. I've never even heard of these guys.
They look pretty menacing for how light their color scheme is.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, very
like white
bright color scheme.
brown and then red, and that thing looks like it just wants to murder me.
Yeah, it's like got these gigantic tusks. I mean,
That's like something out of Diablo right there.
those are gnome-sized tusks if you look at them.
Not even, dude, come on. It's Tauren-sized tusk. Just the tusk is the size of a Tauren.
Yeah, they're definitely channeling their inner Diablo there. But you know what? Even now that I look at it, I mean, it's kind of another leafy subject because it doesn't really look like it from the picture zoomed out, but zoomed in, all the kind of red, fiery looking places are actually leaves.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of plantish.
Yeah, still planty.
I thought he was a good guy.
I wish I would play
By,
that.
by looking at it, I know I'm going to run up to it and try to be its friend, and it's probably going to one-shot me.
I'm gonna try to run up to it.
If I play as that in World of Warcraft, I would still be playing right now.
Dude, you can play as a Draenei, though, dude. You don't want to be Maraud? Come on now, dude.
I already played as Draenei.
Oh, you already played? I didn't know you resubbed already.
Oh, what? Get out of here.
Anyway, I have the next race, and they are called the Gorin. While the Gron and the Magnarans shape the world through their brute individual strength, the Gorin are scavenging opportunists who dart unseen between the lumbering feet of their larger cousins. That sounds like gnomes, kind of, honestly, in a few ways. Roughly the size of an Azerothi and Trog, Gorin live in massive colonies that burrow through the earth, gobbling up minerals and leaving twisting caves in their wake. They enjoy devouring crystalline minerals, which are digested and extruded through their skin, giving some Gorin the benefit of an armored crystalline shell. The bane of both Orc and Draenei miners, Gorin sniff out and infest mineral-rich burrows. Adventurers should be wary of the Gorin's ability to shoot crystalline projectiles and swarm around unprepared explorers in rolling packs, as well as their impossibly sharp teeth and acidic spit.
I like the backstory here, specifically with they eat minerals and then extrude them through their body. That's why they have rocks growing on them.
Oh, I expect they're not plants. That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
it's a lot of flavor.
Yeah, a lot of flavor. Let me grow this flavor through my skin.
I mean, honestly, it sounds like I could roll with them. Like they got They got a small stature like I do. They're unhidden.
You're gonna be best buds with these guys.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm superior, but
you're gonna destroy all of them and then gonna try to be best buds with them.
Yeah, we'll be dead then. That'll be kind of sad.
And then it gets awkward whenever you decide to try to take a bite out of some mineral.
Yeah, dude,
I want to be like them.
Oh, that's not gonna roll well. I really like these character models though. I was looking up at more even besides this picture that's shown in this article. They look pretty cool, I think.
They kind of look like little frogs or turtles.
They're smaller than I would have guessed though. I thought they were gonna be big, honestly. Like when I saw the first picture.
Yeah, they do look like kind of a big sort of thing.
But
I don't know. All the character models that they display here are tops. Like I like all of them. I mean, the infested is the weakest one, and to say an infested sort of, character is one of the weakest models that they could come up with. And I mean, it's not even weak, it's just not as original as the other ones look. So yeah, they did a great job with these.
Also in the header image of this whole post, there's like this really sick looking toucan. I don't know,
dude, like the death stare.
That's what I was excited for, dude. If you get that as a hunter pet, I'm about to level 100 right now.
And then RP a pirate like no other.
Oh yeah, dude.
It doesn't even make sense.
It makes me want some Fruit Loops.
Dude, that's the blood on his beak. He murdered people for his Fruit Loops.
It's kind of a hybrid between Trix and Fruit Loops there.
Don't touch my Fruit Loops. Stab.
Well, anyway, that's all the Tavern Talk we have today. We're going to move over to Trade Chat. This is a section of the show where we hear from you, the listener. But first, I want to pitch our guild. PFL is an alliance guild on Emerald Dream. It's an RP PvP server, 1 foot in, 1 foot in the other place. So if you like the sound of that, our battle tags are always in the show notes, so you can check us out and find us on the server. But we did hear from Trevor this week, and he was trying to save us when we could not think of the name of Manaroth. He was trying to help us and yelled at us, and we almost heard him, but finally somebody came around and remembered that it was Manaroth. That was the name of the demon in the cutscene. But he had some good stuff to say about Ubers, but he also left this great title, so I'm going to see if I've got this right. Trevorius Maximus, commander of the armies of the north, general of the Felix legions, and loyal servant of the true king Magni.
Oh, yep. That was a pretty interesting experience when I first saw that.
We'll just call him that from now on. It's not Trevor anymore. It's Trevorius Maximus, etc., etc.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to copy paste to that every time.
Yeah, we're just gonna copy paste it in the show notes every time we reference you from now on, Trevor.
You meant Trevorius Maximus, commander of the armies of the North, general of Felix legions, and loyal servant of the true king Magni.
My bad, I'm a blasphemer, man.
And we will work on the acronym for that for next show. Anyway, we thank you guys for the group, and thanks for tuning in this week for our 10th episode. Please feel free to shoot us any questions, complaints, or screenshots of your time-lost proto-drake to pals@palsforlife.net. And to listen to any of our previous episodes, check out our website, palsforlife.net. And of course, you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, and anywhere else podcasts are found. Until next time, this has been Pals for Life.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye. That's what I
We're
heard.
done here.
Well, until we cast the scroll of resurrection.
The scroll of resurrection.
Let's talk about. Okay, I know what's wrong with the game. What's wrong with the game is that Lane hasn't subbed yet. That's what's wrong with it.
In their irrigated ponds or tree dwelling. I've got this. All right. I don't even know if I want to.
Dang, Wilson, that tree dwelling thing was like crazy. Tree dwell. You sound like a computer program gone wrong.
Later, killer, lover boy.